A very commonly asked question and criticism from skeptics and people of other religions is, if the Christian God is so loving, then why does he send people to hell? And to answer this question in short, before I get to the long explanation, I just want to say that God has never sent anyone to hell, and you only go to hell not only because you choose to, but because actually you go to hell because God loves you. Now you might think, wait, how does that work? So let's start with the example. Since Jesus has compared his relationship with the church to a marriage, I will be using a marriage for this example. So let's just say that there's a young woman wanting to get married, and there's two young men who have recently entered her life. One young man is a stable, godly, family-oriented, caring, strong young man, and the other one is trouble. He's been in jail, he's abusive, just a bunch of trouble. But here's the thing. The abusive one and the trouble one is a lot more attractive and seems a whole lot more fun. In the same way, sin can seem very appealing and attractive to us. You kind of see where I'm going with this. Now, the godly young man offers marriage to the young woman and tells the young woman what he has to offer. But even after that, the young woman still wants to go with the troubled young man. And also, the godly young man tries to warn the woman of all the trouble the other man is. But even still, she wants to go with the young man that's just a bunch of trouble. So, what is the godly young man to do? Hold her hostage? Force her to marry him anyway? No, of course not. He respects her free will, that she's a grown woman and can make her own decisions. So he lets her go and marry the young man that's just a bunch of trouble. Now imagine if 5 years down the line, that young woman comes running up to the godly young man after being in an abusive relationship and says, "I can't believe you made me marry that other man." How does that make any sense at all? It doesn't. But see, that's exactly what you do to God when you blame him for someone going to hell. Jesus Christ came to this earth as a human to establish a relationship with us and to warn us of the dangers of sin and the dangers of hell. And that's all in this book. Jesus wants a relationship with you because he loves you and he wants genuine love. That's why he gave us free will, is he wants us to genuinely love him. But even after all Jesus did for you and all the warnings he gave you, he spoke more of hell than he did of heaven. And after all that, and after all Jesus has shown you what he has to offer you, a life of peace, a life of joy, and you still reject him for the pleasures of sin, and you still want to live separate from him, what can he do? He loves you enough and respects you enough to let you have your way. So when the end of your life comes, and you have did nothing but reject a relationship with him, he gives you your wish, and he sends you to eternity separate from him. But here's the hard part. Eternity separate from God is separate from everything good. So you can imagine the consequences of that. So in turn, it's not that God sends you to hell, it's that God loves you enough to let you go to hell. It is by your choice and your choosing and your rejection of a relationship with him that causes you to go to hell. That is a decision you made with your free will, which he is all open to respecting. So no, it is not God's fault if someone ends up in hell. It is simply their own.